Congratulations, you've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Trucker Andy, and with me, as always, is your co-host.
This is fucking Chad.
It's Joe Sixpack, everybody.
How you doing?
What's going on, everybody? We're on a tight fucking timeline today. Andy's been on location at Disney. Let's not forget to go to allapologiespodcast.com to find links to YouTube and Instagram and all those and very important things. Andy's been doing a great series on Edgar Wright. I just watched the Fistful of Fingers review you did with Ryan Balkin. And don't forget all of that. The Bills are playing tonight, so I want to get the fuck out of here. Andy, 2 points that I wanted to bring up before. I'll leave the Diddy thing for your fucking update. The one thing I want to just make sure to keep on radar, everybody's talking about the Riyadh, Saudi Arabian comedy festival that went on. I feel like we're going to get a lot of apologies coming from that real soon from those people. Okay. So I don't want it to go unnoticed. I want to mention it at least here. We're not going to cover it right now. I think it's a real hot topic that people are going over. But right now what we're seeing is people justifying it. Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle being like, oh, Saudi Arabia is great. It's easier to talk there than it is here. They have Starbucks and McDonald's. It's fucking phenomenal. Is it? Nobody's fucking buying it. So nobody's apologizing.
You sell out bitches.
Oh my God. You know, there's people, it just sounds like you're bitter when you complain about like somebody like Mark Maron or David Cross was real outspoken about it recently. And it sounds like you're just bitter. But on the other hand, it's like, although I'm sitting back here going, well, you can't trust any government. So you might as well take money from the government that's offering you money. Anyway, I've gone too far with this already. It's more than I feel like we're going to see a lot coming from this in the future. I don't want anybody to think that it's not on our radar. We'd be foolish to not be paying attention to it. Andy, did he watch?
The D, the I, the D, the D, the Y, the D, the I, the D is Diddy. Hold up, is Diddy.
Yeah, not a whole lot to watch. I've been having trouble with my computer, so I have foregone the emails of the courtroom artist drawing Diddy crying into his hands when he got sentenced.
It's
to
Diddy
4
doing
years.
this. Oh,
Yeah. Oh. Putting a chastity belt on so he doesn't get date raped in prison.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody's giggling over the fact that Diddy got 4 years in prison.
You can't rape me. I already have a butt plug in.
Yeah. He will probably serve like 8 months and then get out on account of being rich.
Yeah,
so
take half my money and
yeah,
he'll buy his way out.
Watching him get sentenced to 4 years and cry in court is probably the best. And then he'll be out in less than a year. But
any other update? They made it really fucking hard on me, on my heart. But Toronto did beat the Yankees. It was 13 to fucking like 1, and it ended up being 7-13. So they gave me a heart attack. But now everybody in New York is.
I'm being gay over here.
They're all crying into their palms like Diddy over there in New York.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. A lot of sad people in New York today.
The other thing I was going to feature that you could just go check out, I'll plug the Instagram. You can follow our Instagram account for free. There was a Twitter war between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, who I've always assumed was not to throw fuel on a trope that is painting me in a bad light, but I always thought they were basically the same person. Not that they all look alike. That's not what I'm saying. I just mean that Cardi B fully ripped off Nicki Minaj. Am I wrong? Like, it's the same shtick, but so I understand why Nicki Minaj would hate Cardi B, because it seems like Cardi has taken stood on the shoulders of a giant ass and made the same career but more popular. Does that make sense to you? Doesn't it just seem like Cardi B is Nicki Minaj? 2.0.
I think that I think I prefer Cardi B over Nicki Minaj in some ways. Um, not not for ass or whatever. I just think I just like Cardi B's style slightly more. I think they should fight like lambs fight, only with their asses, where they just like run into each other.
Yeah. Sumo ass war. I
Mhm.
support that. But what I don't support is the fact that they're going on Twitter apologizing to each other's children for having a shitty mom. It's like, hey,
It's the I feel bad for her kids
yes,
defense.
yeah. And I posted those on our Instagram story, so
Mm.
go check that out. I don't know the kids' names, but it's like, hey, Kratom Minaj, sorry that your mom's a prostitute or whatever. That's what go read it. It's funny.
It's Kratom's fucking mom.
Yeah.
That's hilarious because today we're featuring the exact opposite. It's like the photo negative battle of women in today's episode of
Yeah.
Emma Watson versus J.K. Rowling. And so those two battles couldn't be more
Yeah.
flipped. But let's get into, or do you have anything you want to talk about before we get into the main here?
No,
No.
let's set it up.
Okay, this Amala Ekbukenobi. I don't know. Help me, Ekbukenobi. You're my only hope in understanding this. Now, it sounds like she was liberal and now she's like a conservative commentator. It really doesn't matter. Props to Amala here for putting a lot of this together. She essentially read the Twitter feed for me.
Great.
So I'm not saying, hey, we're stealing all of her work, but she just provides the audio. It'll be a lot better than listening to this voice read it to you. But let's just learn a little bit about what's going on here. Let's have Amala set it up for us.
Before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe because today we're going to be talking about Emma Watson. Now, Emma Watson recently appeared on the Jay Shetty podcast to sort of clear the air on her life, her career, and her take on J.K. Rowling, I guess.
There's been so many conversations and comments directly from J.K. Rowling, whether it's her saying she'd never forgive you for your views, or the fact that when she was asked what ruins the movies for her, she named yourself and some of your co-stars. And I imagine that's an extremely difficult thing when you've been a part of someone's world, when you've felt connected to their work, and then for it now to kind of be a full 180, and for someone to publicly say these things that can be quite or extremely hurtful, actually. How do you think about that?
Right. So what's interesting, I wanted to play, like, I heard a lot of things about this or saw a lot of things about it. And I didn't know, like, how out of context it may have been taken or something like that. So I wanted to kind of go back and see it from, like, the original perspective.
Yeah.
So I don't know who Jay Shetty is either, or like, he seems like a life coach or something like that.
Yeah. I just like the premise of J.K. Rowling sitting there watching what Emma Watson is saying about LBGQT plus trans rights in 2025, and J.K. Rowling looking at the movies through rose-colored glasses, wishing that this woke-ass bitch wasn't ruining her IP on screen based on 2025 politics.
Yeah. That was the other thing that I'm really struggling with. Like, J.K. Rowling is getting, like, all the smoke from, like, Hollywood liberal people, right? Now, I don't want it to be like I'm coming down on one side or the other here, but I don't, like, completely condemn J.K. Rowling for trying to, like, look at things from a fact-based thing, but they're like, here's the summation as far as I can break it down for people, and hopefully it doesn't come off insensitive from my side. J.K. Rowling is like, these are facts and science is facts, and you can't, change facts or whatever. And everybody over here, like, Emma Watson and the whole cast of Harry Potter is like, yes, but people's feelings matter too. And J.K. Rowling is like, I don't care about that. We need to.
Yes, but my makeup artist is trans, and if I agree with you, I'm gonna look like shit on my next movie. So I have to distance myself from you.
I feel like J.K. Rowling is like one of the things, like with Kramer from Seinfeld, like the character, not Michael Richards, where it's just like, well, if I'm just honest and I say honest things like, well, her nose is big and she'd be really attractive if she got a nose job, then people respect your honesty, right? Now, I'm not saying people respect J.K. Rowling's honesty, but I think if you come at something from an honest and factual perspective, you'll never really go wrong, even if it's unpopular.
Right. Well, the fact is that J.K. Rowling has fuck you money, and she can pretty much say whatever she wants at this point, whether you agree with it or not, Emma Watson.
Yeah. But so I think Emma Watson and a lot of those people, like if you're just espousing, if I'm getting that word right, expounding the opinion of the day, you know, the flavor of the week, then you're going to have a problem. And it feels like that's like Emma Watson is now backpedaling in a certain way, you know?
Is that right? Okay.
Not that she is. It's not like she's changed her opinion, but she's just like, oh, it's hard for a late 30s mom to get work in Hollywood. Maybe I shouldn't have shit on the fucking, you know,
where my bread
I had, you know?
I forgot where my bread was buttered.
It feels like
when I want to be a legacy character in Fantastic Beasts 5, they're not going to bring me back because JK is going to have a problem with it. JK is going to say, JK. See what I did there, Joe?
JK, you're not going to be in the sequel. So that's what it feels like. That's what this whole thing feels like. Now, I might be missing a huge part of it. All sympathies and leeway given to everyone.
Thoughts and prayers.
And prayers to everyone here. But let's hear what this. I gotta say, Emma Watson sounds like a fucking fool throughout. I almost kept like there's very light editing here, but a lot of long fucking pauses to come up with like no opinion or like the stupidest opinion. So here we go with this bullshit.
I really don't believe that by having had that experience and holding the love and support and views that I have mean that I can't and don't treasure Joe
and
the person that I had personal experiences with. I will never believe that one negates the other.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah. Let me respond to that comment with this comment. Huh? What?
Exactly.
What you talk about, Willis?
It is honestly just like blathering on, like, and it is just like, thanks for your opinion on it. You'll hear like Jay Shetty, say like, oh, thanks for bringing that point, or Jay
Shetty says something like this.
This moron is giving me everything.
It does feel that way. Here she is with more fucking absolute blithering. Like I don't even know what the fuck she's talking about. Yeah.
And that my experience of that person, I don't get to keep and cherish. To come back to our earlier thing, like I just don't think these things are either or. I think it's my deepest wish that I hope people who don't agree with my opinion will love me, and I hope I can keep loving people who I don't necessarily share the same opinion with. And I think that's a very, very important way for me that I need to be able to move through life.
whatever that means.
She's doing some kind of circular logic talk where it's ambiguous and trying to straddle the line between both sides so that you forget whether or not you were offended and which side she was on, and we have no idea who she's referring to. Like, I don't know. I genuinely have no idea what she's talking about right now.
Well, okay, so maybe I can put a little in context. What I think she's talking about here, or what it seems like, is the J.K. Rowling being the woman who mentored her through being a child actor and making her huge success, and the affection and affinity she held for a woman who guided her through becoming a star in that movie. So they keep saying holding.
So she's trying to reconcile her I'm sorry to talk over you, Joe. So she's trying to reconcile her opinion of J.K. Rowling. It's because I thought she was defending a friend of hers that was trans. She's talking about J.K.
She's talking about J.K. Rowling in the past versus J.K. Rowling now. She's talking about J.K. Rowling, the brilliant writer who gave her a career and made her a millionaire, versus J.K. Rowling, the hate speech bigot who she can't stand anymore. Or so she would have us believe, right? And so I can love the person from the past and hate the person who
in the
she
future
is now, the current. I can look at the past through rose-colored glasses and hate the woman through my Google or my Meta fucking Ray-Bans, whatever.
I love Hitler's paintings, but I hate his politics, is what she's saying, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, now you're getting it. So, and so this is a tightrope balancing act between trying to straddle that fence, basically. So here's the next clip.
It's not so much what we say or what we believe, but very often how we say it. That's really important. And that's really frustrating.
Angelou.
Not what you want to hear when you're really angry and upset with someone. But I don't know. I just see this world right now where we seem to be giving permission for this kind of like throwing out of people, or that people are disposable.
Like my career.
Yeah. Nobody sees me as anything other than Hermione, and I can't get cast in anything.
Yeah. That is a true thing to say, is, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Sure.
You can tell anybody anything if you frame it the right way, and there's all these tactics like the what is it, the bad news sandwich, where you tell them something good and then you tell them the thing that you
compliment sandwich.
The compliment sandwich. Thank you, Andy. The compliment sandwich. And that's a true thing, I would say. But so she's not wrong in that sense, but I don't think she's saying it the best way. Let's see if she can figure it out from here.
I don't think she can.
No one's disposable. And everyone, as far as possible, whatever the conversation is, should and can be treated with, at the very least, dignity and respect.
Thank you for challenging us and pushing that. It takes a lot.
For real.
I think that's what we're all being challenged to do, is try and hold two truths at once. And those two truths don't have to be complementary, but they can stand at the same time. Yeah.
Can they?
Thank you for challenging my patience. It's very hard to keep up with whatever the fuck you're talking about. It's a good thing you're hot.
Yeah, she's kind of, and there's like all these like epiphanies, or that look that she gives him there is it's just like, oh yeah, thanks for helping me through figuring out what the fuck I'm talking about. Like my lady brain couldn't explain myself properly.
Yeah.
The the fucking isn't it? Oh, Sal Governelli. Myself couldn't explain myself
Yeah.
properly. Shit like that.
Myself couldn't explain to myself why my nephew's my niece now.
Yeah. But yeah, and once again, like this guy like being, I don't know, a life coach. I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about him. This is also like I had to try and navigate this 3-hour podcast to find this part.
Oh my God. 3 hours. I'm so sorry.
No, it's I didn't watch all 3 hours, but like at one point I blasted through it and I came across a preview. Like they put a coming up in this episode that you're currently watching. Like there's no commercial breaks or anything, but it says like coming up in here. She talks about this, and I could see when she's speaking, she's dangling a foot like off the floor a little bit.
Yeah.
And she sits like Indian style for Jay Shed. No, crisscross applesauce.
Yeah. Careful.
She sits cross-legged in the chair like the entire time. So I was able to scrub through. And then when I found her with her foot hanging off the chair, and I'm like, oh, now she's talking about it. And it was like almost completely at the end. I'm like, you were going to subject me to 2.5 hours of this bullshit to get to the, the
teaser,
the clickbait of the whole goddamn thing. And I'm like, you motherfuckers. But
they beat her into submission after 3 hours.
Yeah. I've been pulling clips long enough where I'm a little smarter than the average bear when it comes to navigating your 3 hours of absolute nonsense. Your one-woman show. Who could possibly give a fuck? All right. I don't even know what the fuck she's talking about at this point. Let's find out.
I think the thing I'm most upset about is that a conversation was never made possible.
So you remain open for that dialogue?
Yeah, and I always will. I believe in that. I believe in that completely.
Of having a conversation with somebody?
I believe in that completely. I just don't... I just don't want to say anything that like continues to weaponize a really like toxic debate and conversation.
Yeah, who wants to have a conversation with that?
Yeah, what are you adding to a conversation? Oh, let's have an in-depth discussion about gender politics. Sure. You know, yada, yada, yada.
Trans people be like.
I'm always open to that.
Yeah. Let's see what else she's open to in the next clip here.
Just being open to anything. That doesn't... That's the least anybody could do is just pretend to listen to somebody and then get on with their lives.
I believe in that, Andy. I believe in like just listening to some moron blither about something like that they just heard somebody else talk about. It's not even her fucking opinion. Like she's just like, oh, I heard somebody who controls the levers of Hollywood say that we have to accept this. So let me co-sign that because I don't even know what I believe. At least J.K. Rowling's like, I don't want a grown man standing next to my daughter in a changing room. At least she has a reason. I don't want freaking, Hulk Hogan in a wig to bend it like Beckham into my daughter's skull. She has a fucking reason.
I'm open to a conversation to anybody that will cast me in their next project, no matter what they're wearing or what their pronouns are.
Now, let me say, J.K. Rowling sounds like she's like, I don't want Hulk Hogan bending it like Beckham into my kid's skull. The other side of that is, well, who said they would? It's just like you're putting forth a theory that may or may not come true. I know those things have happened at some point, but we can't judge everybody on isolated incidents is really what it boils down to. But so let me stay sympathetic.
That 1% of 2% of people do exist. Yes.
Right. All right. Let's see what else how many more of these do I have to fucking listen to? One more, I guess.
The way that the conversation is being had feels really painful to me. And so that's why that decision.
Yeah. I really appreciate that mindset, and deeply feel like if people are challenged to go there themselves, like it takes a lot to think that way and feel that way.
Yes.
But it's what healing really requires across, around the world. And I can't imagine how many young people who look up to you and people who look up to you will feel the same way to recognize that that's how we engage. That's what we look for.
It is.
You would think that if these two people that felt so deeply about this topic would be able to articulate it in a good way, if you had such a strong opinion about it and say, it's gonna, oh my God, you can't even put it to words, the feelings that I have about this. Who could even say, because I feel so strongly about, say something.
Yeah.
You're saying nothing.
I feel like if you've ever, whatever, I think anybody who was trying to get laid and had to like put up with somebody, it was just like, I just feel like, you'd rather just bang me and not talk to me. And then you have to be like, oh, okay, you're feeling, you're having a feeling. Okay. Feelings are valid.
Just put on Bob Seger's "Why Don't You Stay?" or "We Got Tonight." Listen to that.
Yeah.
A better sentiment than everything that's happening on this 3-hour podcast could be said in 3 minutes by Bob Seger.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, everybody's allowed to have their feelings. Yes, we know, but also facts. Like that's the hard thing about your feelings is, it's hard to base that in reality sometimes. This is the last one of her fucking incomprehensible defense of herself. I don't know.
I can love her. I can know she loved me. I can be grateful to her. I can know the things that she said are true. And there can be this whole other thing. And my job feels like to just hold all of it. But the bigger thing is just what she's done will never be taken away from me.
Thanks for saying such a powerful example.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. Saying nothing, like what are we? I don't know what you said. Thanks for saying words.
A powerful example of trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Well, I mean, but he's I'll have to clarify his statement for that is like, he's not an idiot. She sounds like an idiot. But he's just talking about, that they do have a very public and contentious disagreement, that J.K. Rowling is so rich that she has literally fuck you money. She can just be like, fuck you. And we're about to hear all of the fuck yous that are coming from J.K. Rowling. But Emma Watson is always like, oh, I'd love to have a conversation about fucking this with her. And J.K. Rowling's like, pound it up your stupid ass. Nobody cares what you think. So let's
on.
Yeah. So here, now we come back to Amala. I forget her name. I'm sorry, ma'am. But
I know we
thanks for doing a lot of that.
Heavy stole lifting. All your content, and now I'm Kevin Brennan sniping a snipe and putting it on my show and asking.
But also, to be fair, she's just reading a tweet. Like this is why I felt fine about taking this, because you're just reading what J.K. Rowling said, and instead of me reading it, she's going to read it. So we're just going to break this up and listen to J.K. Rowling's feedback on this. J.K. Rowling has a few notes for you.
She says, I'm not owed eternal agreement from any actor who once played a character I created. The idea is as ludicrous as me checking with the boss I had when I was 21 for what opinions I should hold these days. Emma Watson and her co-stars have every right to embrace gender identity ideology. Such beliefs are legally protected, and I wouldn't want to see any of them threatened with loss of work, or violence, or death because of them. However, Emma and Dan in particular have both made it clear over the last few years that they think our former professional association gives them a particular right, nay, obligation, to critique me and my views in public. Years after they finished acting in Potter, they continue to assume the role of de facto spokespeople for the world I created.
So, J.K. Rowling's doing the Krusty the Clown bit of like, I hope nobody stops screaming. She's like, oh, I'd hate for them to lose work, but would you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but still, they don't owe her anything, and she certainly they owe her everything, and she owes them nothing. Is what she's saying.
Right,
but
right.
It's like go on, do your own thing now. At this point, the movies are done. Your careers are going on to whatever they are now. You don't have to feel like you're accountable for J.K. Rowling's. Jack Nicholson doesn't run around apologizing for Roman Polanski just because he was in Chinatown. It's not necessary. It's not required of you, Emma Watson. Just because maybe you want to feel like you're the poster child for defending everything that J.K. Rowling stands for, which she doesn't necessarily, but it's not your job. It doesn't have to be your job unless you make it your job. And by you going on a 3-hour podcast and more, you're kind of doing this to yourself.
Yeah. I hate to, like, because there's this stupid kind of fad or meme of how often do you think of the Roman Empire or like Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism?
What is that?
It's like alpha male, sigma male bullshit that people think that you can apply to every aspect of your fucking life. But the one thing that I did kind of subscribe to, at least the thing that I heard recently, was like, your life actually becomes a lot easier when you just don't have to have an opinion about every single fucking thing that goes on. You could just be like, I don't have an opinion on that. Hey, everyone, people want to cut their genitals off and act like they're somebody else. I have no opinion on that.
Yeah, that doesn't affect me in any way. Just don't send your genitals to me in the mail and we're fine.
I don't know. Okay, yeah, this is the next guy. I didn't know if I had the right clip queued up here, but here's the next part of this.
When you've known people since they were 10 years old, it's hard to shake a certain protectiveness. Until quite recently, I hadn't managed to throw off the memory of children who needed to be gently coaxed through their dialogue in a big, scary film studio. For the past few years, I've repeatedly declined invitations from journalists to comment on Emma specifically, most notably on the witch trials of J.K. Rowling. Ironically, I told the producers that I didn't want her to be hounded as the result of anything I said. The television presenter in the attached clip highlights Emma's all witches speech, and in truth, that was a turning point for me. But it had a postscript that hurt far more than the speech itself.
Yeah, so that is, she's referencing, I almost included it and then I decided why bother. Emma Watson presented at an award show, BAFTA, I don't know, some British award show, I think. And she said, I'm here for all witches. And then like almost inaudibly under her breath, she's like, except one, meaning J.K. Rowling, basically. And so that J.K. Rowling like got either heard by her, back to her, and she's just like, oh, she's here for everyone except me, I guess. Lottie fucking da, Emma Watson,
what a hero.
Yeah. But it was almost like an under your breath, fuck you, It was just like, cowardly almost. It's very just like, why don't you have this whole platform? Why don't you fucking say what you want to say then, ma'am? Oh no, I'm just gonna be like, oh, except her. Oh, what her? Who did you mean? Oh, I don't know. I'll let you guess who I meant. Oh, right. This is the game we're gonna fucking play. Are you a fucking adult or not? Or do you defend this community or don't you? Like, what do you are you going to be the champion that we fucking all need, or are you going to be a fucking little baby about it? I guess we're going to get the baby.
So brave.
Emma asked someone to pass on a handwritten note from her to me, which contained the single sentence, I'm so sorry for what you're going through. She has my phone number. This was when the death, rape, and torture threats against me were at their peak, at a time when my personal security measures had to be tightened considerably and I was constantly worried for my family's safety. Emma had just publicly poured petrol on the flames, yet thought a one-line expression of concern from her would reassure me of her fundamental sympathy and kindness. Like other people who've never experienced adult life uncushioned by wealth and fame, Emma has so little experience of life, she's ignorant of how ignorant she is.
I'm sorry you feel that way. Emma Watson gave to her while she's getting,
petrol poured on her.
Yeah. She's trying to have J.K. Rowling swatted, but she's just like, "Oh, sorry you feel that way."
That's the germ of the seed that grew into this show, is that sentiment.
Yeah, right.
Sorry you feel that way, but
and we
fuck you anyway. I don't accept your apology.
I think it's a little bit older, but we do get a apology reference in here, so we will check that box eventually. But let's see what else we got here from the tweet. This is a long tweet.
Jesus Christ, I'll say.
She'll never need a homeless shelter. She's never going to be placed on a mixed-sex public hospital ward. I'd be astounded if she's been in a high street changing room since childhood. Her public bathroom is single occupancy and comes with a security man standing guard outside the door. Has she had to strip off in a newly mixed-sex changing room at a council-run swimming pool? Is she ever likely to need a state-run rape crisis center that refuses to guarantee an all-female service? To find herself sharing a prison cell with a male rapist who's identified into the women's prison? I wasn't a millionaire at 14. I lived in poverty while writing the book that made Emma famous. I therefore understand from my own experience what the trashing of women's rights in which Emma has so enthusiastically participated means to women and girls without her privileges.
Yeah. Yeah. J.K. Rowling is like bringing receipts or, speaking from a lifetime of experience. And Emma Watson's just like, oh, but how do you really feel?
All lives matter.
Yeah, I think I
might have strong stance to take. That
I may have missed one here, but who really cares?
The greatest irony here is that had Emma not decided in her most recent interview to declare that she loves and treasures me, a change of tack I suspect she adopted because she's noticed full-throated condemnation of me is no longer quite as fashionable as it was, I might never have been this honest. Adults can expect to cozy up to an activist movement that regularly calls for a friend's assassination, then assert their right to the former friend's love, as though the friend was in fact their mother. Emma is rightly free to disagree with me, and indeed to discuss her feelings about me in public, but I have the same right, and I finally decided to exercise it.
Snap. Yeah.
You have the right to remain silent, Emma Watson.
This is like Emma Watson entering she's brought a butter knife to a fucking bazooka match. You're fighting somebody who works with words, and she will respond with her words while you sit there and go, I'm
on the right side of history.
Hold these two truths.
Yeah. Yeah. I clearly need a script to read from to make a point.
What was I saying?
Yeah.
All right. So then I have a little bit of a wrap up here with some other responses from J.K. Rowling that were not that specific tweet. But here's where we check a box for our show.
J.K. Rowling also said this in April of 2024. I guess she sort of prepared for the idea that celebrities would be apologizing to her on this topic and said that they should, quote, save their apologies. She goes on to say, after being asked, quote, what actors/actress instantly ruin a movie for you? She replies, 3 guesses. Sorry, but that was irresistible. And of course, she means Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint. Now, J.K. Rowling has also tweeted this out recently, and this may or may not be a reference to Emma Watson. It does sort of seem like it. She says, quote, a little reminder for anybody who may be regretting their public sprint to the front of the mob and is now trying to discreetly shove their pitchforks out of sight.
Because that was the tweet, but then under that it says, in light of recent open letters from academia and the arts criticizing the UK's Supreme Court ruling on sex-based rights, it's possibly worth remembering that nobody sane believes or has ever believed that humans can change sex or that binary sex isn't a material fact. These whatever, then it's cut off from there. So once we started talking about these, we started talking about how science, that J.K. Rowling is basing her opinion on this binary male female, gender norms were whatever she might, the classic, J.K. Rowling's dealing with the classics, basically.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm never one to side, like, I'm a fence rider for the most part. I was just like, well, you go cut your dick off. It doesn't affect me in the slightest, I mean,
I'm all for people, whatever makes you happiest. If you feel like you're not comfortable in your own skin and wearing something or having a procedure is going to stop you from being miserable to a point where a lot of people take their own lives, and if there's any way to make you not choose that route, do what you got to do. That I'm in full support of that. It's just a murky water for an old man to navigate.
Yeah,
it's my problem.
Who am I to say like that you don't feel comfortable in your own skin, or you don't feel like the person that
I'll never know what that feels like.
Yeah, I wish I was a thin person. Yeah, I wish there was something I could do about it. If only there was surgery I could have to make me feel more like myself. Whatever. People feel how they feel. They wish they could do what they could do. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with anybody feeling that way.
As long as it's not injuring somebody that I like or love, or or taking something away from somebody else. Putting somebody else in a position of being victimized instead of whatever, your problem being someone else's problem.
Yeah, I just don't want your religion influencing the politics that make it possible for me to make decisions about myself. That's fucking unacceptable. It's just like, I'm free to do whatever I want with my body, and everyone else should be too. If you fucking want to alter it however you want, go do that. That's ridiculous, so, I mean, J.K. Rowling should shut the fuck up. Emma Watson should shut the fuck up. Everybody should just shut the fuck up. Fucking the Yankees should shut the fuck up.
Hey, I'm being gay over here.
Yeah. So that is Emma Watson trying to play both sides of the fence with what seemingly is her career, I would say.
Yeah,
I think she's saying all this to line up her next job, whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
hey, I need work over here. That's what she's saying. Hey,
why
go see my one-woman show off Broadway.
Yeah. It is probably just everybody saying you'd be nothing without J.K. Rowling, so stop shitting on her.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know the fever of the fan base of Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling. Does she have stands that will go after Emma Watson, or are they just on the same team of Harry Potter fandom? And this is probably just more of a woke culture versus non-woke culture kind of opinions.
I don't know, but you bring up a good point. So a couple of things, I have young kids who are just starting to read. I 100% intend on reading the Harry Potter series with them. I think it's great literature for kids and stuff. So I'm really looking for, I never absorbed, actually, I couldn't stand it when it was going, like the fever, the popularity of it when it was actually occurring. I thought it was beyond, we were too old for it. I thought it was gay or whatever it is. But I am super gay. I'm like, I will go back. I will have its day and time in my life, and it'll be with my kids. The other part that I'm fucking losing my train of thought on right now is what?
I mentioned they're being on the same team of Harry Potter fandom versus them being on the opposite side of the political issue of this.
We see very commonly on this show, once I write my version of Harry Potter, or Andy and I put out a book of public apologies and things like that, available on Amazon soon. Copyright pending. AI copyright that for me. No, but what we see are young people tearing down their predecessors. I grew up with this, Colleen Ballinger, people coming for the Paul brothers because I used to like this and now they suck. I used to like J.K. Rowling and now she's a monster to me. It's just that I grew up and now the person who helped me as a child is a monster in my life. It's just like, well, fuck you, kid. It's just like you regret what you liked when you were younger because you look at your younger self as an idiot and you think you're smarter than that now. And that's how I view this as well, is like these young famous people tearing down the woman that made them. And that's problematic as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Shut up. You owe her everything. Just shut up. The least you could do is say nothing.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Count your money and say nothing, Emma Watson. How's that?
Yeah.
But anyway. Well, thank you for digging through that 3-hour podcast of seemingly two people saying nothing for 3 hours.
Yeah. Them thanking each other for every sentence that they uttered.
Thank you for that poorly articulated thought.
Yeah.
No problem. Let's move on to hour number 4. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody here for checking this out. And if you are supporting the show on Patreon,
special thank you to DJ Electra.
Yeah, right. Go subscribe to our Patreon to hear my thanks to DJ Electra for ghosting us on this episode. But also, there's plenty to check out on Patreon for just $5 a month. And you can support the show for free on Instagram and especially on YouTube, where we are also hosting the bonus series, limited series for the Director's Chair podcast network about Edgar Wright's films leading up to the release of The Running Man. I have a playlist over there called All the Right Moves, where right now you can watch The Fistful of Fingers. It's Edgar Wright's first ever independent film. And it's kind of like Blazing Saddles, maybe Naked Gun meets Blazing Saddles. And it's interesting to see that early work and what Edgar Wright grew into now, especially with the new one coming out Wednesday. If you're watching this now, it's probably out right now, the Shaun of the Dead episode. So, and I covered the first one with Ryan and this one with Nelly, and we're going to do all of the movies, and they are coinciding, being released every Wednesday right up until the new reboot of The Running Man comes out on November 14th. So I'm having a lot of fun talking about those movies, and Joe and I will probably go see The Running Man together and then review that, possibly live with everybody that is guest hosting on the series. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel for that. Yeah. We'll see. But so check us out on Instagram, check us out on YouTube, check us out on Patreon. For Joe's Six Pack, I'm Trucker Andy saying,
stay sorry.